Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our webcast this evening. My name is Brian Murray, the Director of Travel here at AAA, and I'm really glad you're spending a little time with us this evening. Our topic tonight is closer to home travel. We're going to be talking about the USA and what there is to do. There is so much in the US. Some of the borders certainly are not open yet, but a lot of focus, a lot of interest in travel in the US. So we thought we would present this evening on that. I do want to let you know you're all in listen only mode, but feel free to type questions in the question panel and we'll entertain the questions at the end of the program. I also want to let you know we're offering $50 on a new booking, any new booking with Pleasant Holidays in the US for 2021. In that offer, in addition to whatever other bonuses are offered, depending on your destination, that offer is valid till the 13th of February. So we got a lot of great information today. Stephen Perry, sales specialist from Pleasant Holidays, is with us this evening. So Stephen, thank you again for joining us, and take it away.
All right. Thank you very much, Brian. And everybody, thank you for being here. Always love a chance to talk, especially since I'm, in my home office, and it's been raining for many consecutive days for me here. So this is a great time to be able to talk about something that I'm passionate about, which is travel. Close to home, United States travel. Obviously, it's something that's people are thinking about more than ever lately. Being able to stay within the United States, um, you know, if something comes up and changes, a little bit more flexibility. There's lots of good reasons to elect to travel within the U.S. And when we're thinking about that and deciding where to go, you have a lot of options to choose from, clearly. But what I want to do is focus on mostly Las Vegas, since that's something that is one of the more unique areas in the United States that really feels like a vacation when you travel, as well as some of the other top destinations that are also unique or close to home and easy access for you. So any questions, go ahead and ask those. I look forward to hearing them at the end. Now, as mentioned from Brian, my name is Stephen Perry. I'm the sales training specialist here for Pleasant Holidays. And if you're not familiar with us, we are part of AAA. So we work with your AAA travel advisor just as another resource to ensure that everything you're looking for is in one convenient package. At this point, even these statistics I'm showing have increased. Hotels, for example, we have about 700 now within the United States alone. We've added a lot of contracts with our hotels across the country to give you more options. There are some cruise options that are maybe not options right now, so we're not going to get into those so much. Keep in mind, US travel is easy if you want to self-drive, meaning take your own car. That's always an option. You can definitely work with your AAA travel advisor on hotels, activities, but you can also get rental cars anywhere within the US. So it's very easy and convenient to be able to do that and have unlimited mileage. You don't need to worry about going over any kind of mileage. And the reason I point that out is for myself, sometimes, I'll take a road trip and just decide I don't feel like putting the miles on my car. So I'll actually rent a car, and it's pretty inexpensive, honestly. And you save a lot of wear and tear on your own vehicle. So that is an option if you do want to drive to a destination. All right, so our doors are open. Welcome back. This is for Las Vegas. Most of my presentation, I want to talk about Vegas. I don't get to do that too often, and it's really a unique destination. We're all aware casinos, right? Casinos and the strip, some fun things to see. We know about the food. Hopefully you know about the food. There's amazing food here. You have 1, 2, and 3 Michelin star chefs right here in Las Vegas. So hopefully you're already aware of that. If not, you now know, and I will highlight some food options later on. But there's so much more than just that. There's so much more than just the casinos and the bright lights and things like that. And hopefully I can show you a little bit. Obviously, there's only so much I can cover in a short amount of time, but hopefully it'll pique your interest. So in Las Vegas right now, I want to start off with what to expect. So face masks are required in all public spaces. Basically, anytime you're going to be moving around and passing people, or in a public space, you wear a mask. If you're in a pool, you do not need to wear a mask. So I know I get that question a lot. Restaurants, most of the top restaurants especially, will require reservations. It's pretty nice though. You're staying at a hotel, they typically have concierge that you can ask to make you reservations. Or if you're eating at the hotel itself, it's very easy to make a reservation. They're trying to have 25% occupancy, just to keep things safe. Bars and lounges, same thing. So the good news is they are open. I know that where I live in Arizona, our bars and lounges are closed unless it's a restaurant first, bar secondary. So good news for Vegas, they are open, much more relaxed, obviously 25% occupancy. So um, kind of a fun experience, if I say so myself. Retail is about 50% occupancy. Salons and spas 50%. Gyms, fitness facilities 25%. Movie theaters. I don't know. I'm asking you a question, even though I can't hear. I'm curious if any of you have gone to a movie. I don't know if they're open where you're at. They are open where I'm at. I did go to one, and we were the only two people in the movie theater. But when I was getting tickets, you actually selected your seats, and in the whole theater, there was maybe 12 total seats. It's basically nobody else on my entire row. We were so spread out, and that's because of the occupancy limitations. Pretty fun, though, to be able to go see a movie and have that type of experience. Bowling alleys, arcades, also 25% max. Museums, art galleries, aquariums, also 25%. Gaming, 25%. There are select shows that are also open. There's not necessarily a specific percentage requirement. It really matters on the show and the venue, but they are definitely limited. But that's good news. There are shows that are available to see when you're in Las Vegas. As far as safety protocols go, temperature checks. So when you arrive to your hotel to check in, they're going to check your temperature. Same thing with at the airport typically. Visitor and employee mandated face masks. So basically, you guys already know public areas, you need a face mask. Employees are the same. Guest amenities that are available: masks, gloves, and hand sanitizer. They also have hand sanitizer and hand washing stations frequently. So I already kind of mentioned restaurants. There's kind of, staggered seating, trying to keep everyone able to social distance. Casinos, game spacing. So they try to, like slot machines, for example, every other seat have it closed off, and they have plexiglass barriers between a lot of these options. The staff that works at the casinos and hotels, shows everywhere, restaurants frequently disinfecting high touch items. Basically, what I found is that there's actual people whose job right now is to sanitize, and they are constantly just going around sanitizing everything just to try to protect everybody. And that's really important, especially to a place like Las Vegas, who needs tourism. So with that in mind, it's their best interest to ensure that this is a very safe experience for you and other guests. So they take it very seriously. There are distancing markers, basically like if you go to a grocery store somewhere where they have markers on the floor to stand on. Improved filtration for their HVAC. Things like that. That way it just kind of cleans the air a little bit more. They're always pretty good in terms of filtering things like that, but they're just better than ever. But the good news is pools are open. There's amazing pools in Las Vegas. So pools are open. Again, things are socially distanced. So lounges are spread apart. If maybe you have 3 people, you can always move one over to add a third. If there's a area that just has 2, that's fine. But they are open. There's been lots of tests about chlorine, and based on what I've seen, chlorine does kill the virus. I get that question a lot. Now, aside from COVID restrictions, policies, that kind of thing, let's talk about Las Vegas now. So just some fun information to know. Vegas says there's millions of opportunities there, and there really is. There's endless options for you. I'm going to touch on some of these options. But domestic visitors, 65.5% of domestic travelers who go to Vegas see a show. That's a lot. I mean, that's over half. That's great. Almost 20% visited a paid attraction, and the average stay is over 3 nights. That's pretty good. That's fun stats. You can also see international visitors just to compare. 76.4% see a show. 42% really visited a paid attraction, and average stay is 4 nights. There's a lot you can do in a short amount of time. And for me personally, I would love to be able to go on a vacation and stay 10 days or something, but I can only speak for myself, and everybody's different. For me, it's easier to wrap my mind around taking an extended weekend or a few days off and go to a place like Las Vegas where I can have a great time, get some relaxation in, rejuvenate, and then get back to work and reality. I think that everyone's different though. I was talking to my parents and they're ready just to go away for like a month. They don't care. But different places and different, current experiences. So whatever you're looking for, hopefully here's some good ideas for you. So let's talk about Vegas Strip. One of the most beautiful places anywhere on earth, honestly, in terms of the lights and the shows. Pictures never do it justice. You're missing so much. So if you haven't been to Vegas, maybe the pictures look cool to you, but it's not the same type of experience as if you can go and see them firsthand. These are just some other images to give you an idea of what Vegas looks like. You have things like aquariums. You have all the different shows we've talked about. You have really awesome lounges, bars. The pools, as I mentioned, there's nowhere better than Vegas in terms of pools and the different kinds of experiences you want there. So if you're a pool person, Vegas is definitely the place you need to go. There's lots of paid attractions you can add on to see, museums, things like that, which I'll highlight later on. But you can also just walk around and you have endless entertainments just walking around, endless art, architecture, people watching is probably most people's favorite thing to do within Vegas. In terms of hotels, here's a look at some for MGM resorts. There are non-smoking hotels as well. Technology's improved, a lot. Things have changed a lot in Vegas. It's pretty easy to clean out the air, and it's not, what it was back in the 60s, 70s, where you have that thick cigarette smell in a lot of these casinos. But if that is something you're sensitive to, there are non-smoking hotels, so that is an option for you. A look at some other really popular hotels. Again, anything you're interested in terms of hotel, what I recommend all the time, and I have friends ask me every week, they're talking about any destination and they want to know what hotel I recommend, and it's impossible unless I take the time to qualify them, meaning I find out what they want to do, what they want to see, what's important to them, that sort of thing. So it's hard for me to do that, obviously, on a webinar where I can't actually talk to you guys, but your AAA travel advisors are the best in the industry and easily can make recommendations. So Vegas is not all just about the Strip. There is downtown Vegas as well. Allegiant Stadium is open. Any football fans, the previous Oakland Raiders now moved to Las Vegas and are in this Allegiant Stadium. Amazing stadium. I actually really want to go, and that should say a lot because I'm originally from the San Francisco Bay Area and I'm a San Francisco 49er fan. So we don't really like the Oakland Raiders, and they're still always going to be the Oakland Raiders to me. But this is a high-tech, one-of-a-kind stadium. It's not just going to be for football, so there's going to be plenty of opportunity to check out this stadium. Dining, I mentioned already. So you have 1, 2, and 3 Michelin star chefs here. You have celebrity chefs, local chefs. I always recommend any chance you get to try cuisine from local chefs, especially up and coming ones with names. You may not be aware of them. That's totally fine. Who is, right? Who knows all the local up and coming chefs where you're going? But very easy to find out. Ask the hotel, where should I go? Are there any up and coming chefs or local chefs? And they will definitely recommend the appropriate places for you, especially in Las Vegas. Private dining options, chef's tables. Actually, perfect. I was just going to say, if you don't know what that is and try to explain it, but that bottom image is a perfect example of what a chef's table is like. And there's different styles. Generally, they're going to be in or near the kitchen, and oftentimes the chefs will interact with you. It's a really fun experience that's different. For the longest time, my 16-year-old now daughter wanted to be a chef, and I took her to, a chef's table inside of a kitchen at an Italian restaurant, and it was a great experience that she will remember forever. So, great time an opportunity if that's something that interests you. There are food tours that you can pre-purchase so that you can try some of the top food in Las Vegas. There's tasting menus, and then of course buffets. Now buffets are different right now. It's not what they used to be. You can't just go up and grab any spoon and scoop anything you want. What they're doing now is you have glass in front between you and the food, and then there's a staff of that restaurant or hotel that serves what you're trying to or what you're interested in. That way, not everyone's touching, obviously, the food and utensils. Lounges. I'm not really that familiar with the whole Vanderpump thing, but that's something I've heard of in the past. I know in Los Angeles, shortly after I first started working for Pleasant Holidays, somebody was really into one of those. But I guess it's a thing. So there's really cool lounges, though, throughout Las Vegas. Great dining experience, unique cocktails. Vegas has some of the most unique cocktails you're going to find anywhere in the world. Speakeasies. Now, that's something I am a fan of. I think the atmosphere and culture of speakeasies is outstanding. So there's multiple different speakeasies in Las Vegas, including the Barbershop. Highly recommend checking that out. And lots of different museums to choose from. This is the underground at the Mob Museum. Gives you a little bit of the mob history that really took place in Las Vegas. So pretty fun, different style, museum experience. There's actually previously during the Prohibition era, illegal distillery that was going on there too. So just kind of a fun experience that you can do when you're in Las Vegas. Other types of museums, there is the Neon Museum. Basically, and this is pretty cool actually, a lot of the old signs, especially if you've watched a lot of movies that are now well aged, that had Las Vegas in them. Some of those famous signs are no longer actually there on the strip, but you can probably find them right here at this Neon Museum. So lots of fun with history there. As far as action and adventure, there's endless options. I'm not going to explain what every single one of these are. You can see from the images. Off-roading, really intense zip lining options. I mean, that's pretty scary, honestly, but I'd probably do it anyways. Options there. That's something a little different to be able to go on the railroad tracks there. Helicopter tours are always, extravagant and show you a lot. You can drive fancy cars, Lamborghinis, space simulation. You can even drive a bulldozer around if you want. Everything you can think of. And then it snows in Vegas. Well, not quite. About an hour and a half away, there is ski slopes. Can you imagine staying in Vegas and enjoying the strip for a couple days, and maybe just to switch it up, go out and go skiing, and then go right back to Vegas, it is an option. Vegas has everything except for beach, but other than beach, it has everything. Recreation and wellness is focus. So, I think most people consider Las Vegas more about gambling and casinos. More people actually do recreation. They're seeing shows, things like that, than gamble. Not everyone gambles. It's kind of a thing when you're there, put a quarter in a slot or something, that's fine, but I don't consider that gambling to try it out, right? It's really about recreation, relaxation, wellness, spa treatments, reconnecting or connecting, with your loved ones. So going to switch it up to Florida, but hopefully that was enough about Vegas to pique your interest a little bit. I think that Vegas, especially Vegas, is a perfect place for vacation right now. You can fly there and you don't have COVID-19 testing requirements. You're able to get home. It's part of the United States. You know what to expect. They take safety serious, so you don't really need to worry about that. And it's just extremely unique and has a little of everything. That said, I want to also talk about Florida next. I actually removed Orlando from here. Sorry, I forgot to remove that line there. I apologize. But I will talk about the Florida Keys and Marco Island because they are also very unique. Keeping in mind staying close to home and having a different type of experience, Florida Keys is perfect. It feels very similar to being you are in the Caribbean basically, so it's similar to going to another Caribbean island. You can't go to Bahamas, or you can, but maybe you don't want to go to Bahamas. This is a great option for you to be able to experience the Florida Keys. If you're not familiar with the Florida Keys, there's about 120 miniature islands. Many of them are very tropical, mangrove, fringed islands. Many of these are connected by a 113-mile oversea highway. So I'll show you a map so you can see that. You can definitely drive it and it's a beautiful experience, but it does take a while. You really have like one lane going each direction. So it's slow moving, but it's beautiful. If you don't mind driving in traffic, it's a great opportunity for you. Great location for families, golfers, beachgoers, water sports enthusiasts, and fishermen. Weather during the winter, temperatures are 70s to 80s, so pretty nice. Most widely considered best time to visit is going to be March through May. There's fewer crowds usually at that time, and the weather is still pleasant. This is a map that shows you exactly where it is. So you can see Miami. This is the points of Florida there, or the tip. And then you have this Highway 1, which connects the islands all the way down to Key West. Now, all of these islands in between have different types of accommodations, different focuses, and different experiences. So even if you've been here, maybe you've gone to 2 islands, there's still a lot more to choose from that has a very unique experience as well. While I'm on this map, I want to point out the destination we're going to speak with after Florida Keys, and that's Marco Islands. You can see it in the top left of the map. That's actually the next one I want to talk about, and I know a lot of travelers are not aware of where exactly that is, so I'll point that out now. But going back to Florida Keys, we contract or work with 22 amazing hotel suppliers there. Big names, of course, just to mention some of them. 5-star Casa Marina, located on the largest private beach in Key West. So for that ultimate luxury, it's a great option. That's that top right image there. You can see the beach is amazing and the water looks perfect too. Sheraton Suites Key West is an all-suite property focused on active traveler, meaning there's lots of complimentary activities included, things like kayaks and that sort of thing to get you out in the water and having a good time. Playa Largo Resort and Spa, 14 acres of beachfront, so easy to social distance while you're at many of these resorts and destinations. Now, going up to Marco Island, like I showed you in that map, I was not aware of Marco Island when I first heard about it. Actually, last year wasn't the first time I heard about it, but first time I was asked to start promoting it as a, a great option for guests to go and visit during COVID times. And the reason why is it's a beach destination, but you can see how wide and long that beach is. So there's lots of space you can distance. It doesn't get, all the big parties like some of the other beach areas do in Florida. Just a really beautiful area that's quickly become one of my favorites. Ideal for families, golfers, beachgoers, water sports enthusiasts, as well as explorers. There's great world-class championship golf courses here for any of you golfers. As far as the hotels, I'm not going to cover every hotel now because I know I'm already running out of time, but JW Marriott, I know it's another luxury resort. I'm not just promoting five-star resorts by any means, but look at that beach. That's the middle image there. That's just amazing. I think we can all use that right now. It also has two 18-hole championship golf courses there. Now, to switch it up to something a little bit different, the Marco Beach Ocean Resorts. It's a boutique property, so there's I forget how many rooms. I think about 14 rooms, and they have kitchens. Which honestly, having a condo style or unit with a full kitchen in it is a huge cost saver. Easily just go to the grocery store, pick up whatever you'd like. You're welcome to cook if you want. They still have daily housekeeping. You don't have to do the dishes, but it's nice to eat at the resort restaurants or at restaurants in the area. So what a lot of people do or use the kitchens for mostly is maybe having a room service, bring a bottle of wine, charcuterie, meat and cheese board, something like that to be able to relax on a balcony, look at the beach, something like that. Or maybe you have a family that you're taking with young kids that need cereal in the morning, something like that, juices, whatever the case is. Kitchens are a huge cost saver. Other Florida cities, obviously, I did not cover all of them. And this is going to be the case with the US product in general, since there's no way I can cover everything. Really, anywhere you want to go, just work with your AAA travel advisor and they will help you out. Going up to South Carolina, so Myrtle Beach is a little bit more well known than maybe Marco is, but very popular destination to go to. There's a handful of hotels that we work with there, three of them rather, and there's two Holiday Inns. I really want to point out that Holiday Inn Express, Myrtle Beach. It's a really nice value. The price point is quite low and you get a lot for what you pay for. It's located one block from Broadway at the Beach Entertainment Complex. So families, this is a perfect hotel for you to stay at a really nice price in a perfect location. And then also in South Carolina, Charleston, cobblestone streets, century-old mansions, old cemeteries, moss-draped trees. So I'm from the West Coast. I've always been basically in the West. This is something that I find really beautiful. Places like Charleston, those moss-draped trees, the old mansion, the cobblestone streets. It's something that we don't really have over here. So I find it fascinating. I'm a big history buff. I'm also a big foodie, and I'm a beach guy. So Charleston really combines all of that into one. Ideal for couples, families, foodies, or history lovers. 7 different hotels that we work with. Take your pick. A lot of great hotels in perfect locations. In historic downtown area, for example, is where the majority are. Easy walking distance to lots of different sightseeing, nightlife, shopping, dining. So depending on your budget and the area, that would help determine where you want to stay there. And then lastly, Colorado, Vale and Aspen. It's ski season now, so if you're a skier, there's nowhere like Colorado. And Vale and Aspen are the two biggest names there. So ski resorts are open. You can go skiing. You don't have to just go to Vale and Aspen for skiing. No, I think a lot of travelers don't think about these areas in the off season, as they're called, when actually prices are lower. There may not be snow, but you have amazing hiking. Mountain biking is top notch at ski slopes when there's no snow, obviously. So all year round, honestly, beautiful area, great mountains, depending on what what time of year you want to go. So to kind of talk about the two, so Vale and Aspen, again, two of the top. Vale is kind of considered nowadays to be like the hip and trendy, where a lot of the rich and famous playground basically is what it's referred to as. Anyone can go there. It's just getting a lot of that upscale vibe and recognition. Aspen has been popular for a long time. It's a beautiful destination, just as nice luxury hotels, moderate properties, whatever you're looking for. Both of them have amazing slopes. Ideal couples, families, skiing, romance, or active travelers. If you're not familiar with where they are, here's a map. They look very close and very close to Denver. I'm zoomed out a little bit there. So there is, I think it's about a 2.5 to 3 hour drive from Denver airport to get to those areas. So keep that in mind, but well worth the trip. As far as hotels go, there's 4 different hotels that we work with across the 2 areas, 2 in Vale, 2 in Aspen. You can see there's very 5-star luxury resorts, the Grand Hyatt Vale and the St. Regis Aspen. You also have 2 great moderate properties, Marriott Steamside and the Westin Snowmass Resort. So great opportunities for you to stay in an amazing resort, either any of these options, and get out there and get some skiing done. There's also other cities in Colorado: Denver, Beaver Creek, Rocky Mountain National Park, Breckenridge, and Steamboat Springs. Lastly, before I wrap it up, there are protection plans. I like to focus on these a little bit. When it comes to travel, it's different. It's a type of insurance, right? But we're not talking about like when you go to an electronics store and they try to sell you extended warranties and insurance on that. With COVID-19, especially with the constant changes, many travelers are nervous or hesitant to travel in case something changes. They don't want to, be out money. There are protection plans just to make sure that you have total flexibility. 2 different types. One is a cashback option. It's extremely easy. If you purchase the cashback, cancel for any reason, and need to cancel for any reason at all, including COVID-19 reasons, or you just change your mind, everything's refunded back minus the cost of that protection plan. Piece of cake. The future travel credit is a promotional option, which works the same. If you need to cancel for any reason or change your mind, whatever the case is, everything that's refundable is refunded back to your form of payment. If there's anything that is considered non-refundable, this is usually airfare. Maybe you're an experienced traveler and you know that oftentimes when you purchase, most of the time, when you purchase flights, if you cancel, it's a credit with the airline. This gives you anything that's non-refundable like that, a future travel credit that you can use for anything through us. So maybe you had published air on American Airlines, for example, that you canceled your trip. You could turn around and use that amount to book a Las Vegas hotel or anything you want. So really flexible options for you to make sure that you're protected in this, ever-changing time. That's all I have. Hopefully you guys got some ideas for vacations for you. Again, anywhere in the United States or outside of the United States, work with your AAA travel advisors. They are the best in the industry and have access to the very best rates, and they can definitely steer you in the right direction. Any questions, Brian?
So great. Thank you, Steve. You know what? Great overview. A lot of opportunities in this big United States of ours. And again, to Steve's point, we can help you zone in on, anything in particular that you're interested in. There is a question. We'll stay kind of in Colorado or on the way to Colorado for the moment. I was going to answer this, but they asked about Steve's recommendation. But living in New York State, would you recommend taking a train to Colorado? So I have an opinion, but I'm curious of your opinion.
That's a little much for me, taking
Okay.
a train that far. So my personal opinion, I would just fly. But every situation's different. If you have a lot of time on your hands and you enjoy train rides, then by all means. But for me personally, I wouldn't. I would just fly.
Very respectful. We do a lot of train travel. People will from Western New York. You would take a train uh, to Chicago from Buffalo and then go out west. A lot of people do that for the train experience. But once you're out there, we can certainly do stays and sightseeing as well. So many people will also take a train one way for that experience and then fly back. So a lot of options to think about there, certainly. Going down to Key West um, doesn't appear, and I know some of the resorts have great beaches, but Key West isn't technically known for beaches. They're certainly not long walking beaches, correct?
Yeah, I mean, most of these islands are fairly small. There are some large beaches there, though. Certain hotels are located on wider beaches, longer beaches than others, but um, most of the islands are quite small. So it's definitely not the destination if you just want to go and yeah, a nice beach stroll for an extended distance. But the good news or the difference is because they are islands, there's plenty of beach option. So maybe they're not quite as long, but unless you're in um, Key West or the busiest areas, there's lots of space and they're not all crowded. So it matters on the experience you're looking for. If you want a busy beach, there are busy beaches. If you want more of a private beach, there is a lot of private beaches. So depending on what you're looking for, there are options there for you.
In one of the popular places that we get a lot of requests for is Isle Morada, which is, kind of not quite halfway down that highway that you had talked about, but there are some beautiful little resorts in that area as well. Um, so heading out to Las Vegas, um, based on some experiences that I've had when I was there, I was going to ask you a question, but actually it came in as well um, about tours outside of Las Vegas. So I've been there many times, and I've stayed at some of the great resort hotels that you had highlighted there. But one of the things that I did with my family a couple times is we went out to Lake Meade and Hoover Dam. And so, if you could talk a little bit about that.
Sure. So really overall on that note, because that's a perfect topic actually to explain kind of difference with traveling within the United States in places like Vegas compared to other places like Caribbean islands or other destinations. So I'm the kind of person to where when I travel, I like to leave the resort usually and do some exploring. And one thing that's so awesome about US travel and places like Las Vegas or most of the United States is you can easily do that. So Vegas, yes, you can stay in Las Vegas, you can spend a lot of your time there, but you can easily leave Las Vegas and go explore even, 100 miles away or whatever you want to. It is an option. There's lots of national parks that you can self-drive to throughout the United States even if you are staying in a bigger city area. There are also some tours which you can purchase to take you to some of the larger sites as well. So any of those options, Brian, that you mentioned is a possibility in Las Vegas as well as anywhere in the U.S. Just kind of think of it as your hub to your playground, and you can go as far out as you want. And as mentioned, again, there's all kinds of activities. If you're the kind of person looking for a guide, there are lots of guide options available for the top sites in the US.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, sightseeing within the U.S. is really terrific. And to that point, we were staying at Bellagio, and I rented a car for the day, and so we picked it up right at Bellagio, and we went out to Hoover Dam, Lake Mead, stopped for brunch on the way out at a cute little cafe, and really made a day out of it. And really, Hoover Dam is really just an awesome site. So a lot of that to do, as you said, basically anywhere within the United States, and we certainly can help facilitate those tours and sightseeing. So that appears to do it for the questions. I will thank you, Steve, and thank our participants in the webinar. If you have any additional questions, feel free to give us a call. We're here when you're ready to just have that wonderful experience, whether it's close to home in the Caribbean, and when Europe opens, and we can go there as well. So thank you all. And again, thank you, Stephen. We really appreciate it. Great presentation.
Thank you, everybody.